Today I'm covering the verdict in the Alicia Andrews trial. Alicia was charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder in connection with the 2024 killing of rapper Julio Foolio. A jury found Alicia guilty of the lesser-included offense of manslaughter and not guilty of the conspiracy charge. Let's break down the charges, how the case played out in court, the weaknesses of the prosecution's case, and how the jury arrived at their final verdict. Let's start with some background. Prosecutors say that a group including Alicia and her boyfriend, who had a rivalry with the victim, drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in connection with a gang-related conflict. They say the group tracked the rapper's movements between clubs, then killed him outside a hotel. Alicia was accused of aiding in that effort, using her car and her phone to help track the victim, surveil his movement, and be present outside the hotel right before the crime took place. The prosecution alleged she was part of plotting the logistics and participating in the surveillance that enabled the killing. From a legal perspective, several things may have weakened the state's case and contributed to the jury's verdict. For first-degree murder, the prosecution must show the killing was willful, premeditated, and with intent to kill. If the jury doubts the planning or intent, they may opt for a lesser-included offense. Alicia was present in one of the vehicles that was tracking the rapper, but she was not in the vehicle with the people that actually shot and killed him. This likely raised the question for the jury whether she was directly involved as a principal or supporting others on the periphery. To sustain a conspiracy charge, the state must show Alicia agreed with others to commit murder and took an overt act in furtherance of that agreement. If her role was more passive or peripheral, the jury may have concluded she did not share the planning or agreement to kill. I spoke about this on a recent segment of Court TV, and you can find the clip in our YouTube channel. The long and short of it is we needed to hear more about the meeting of the minds, the planning, the agreement, and the steps she took before we could expect the jury to come back with a verdict of guilty on the conspiracy. Alicia testified she believed the trip was harmless, that she remained in the car while others carried out the attack, and she did not know there was a plan to kill. If that testimony resonated with the jury, it likely undercut the idea she was a co-plotter or principal in the act. Sometimes jurors balk when the defendant's role is not clearly active in the killing itself. Being the car driver or tracker is a support role. Jurors may feel that supports facilitation, but not necessarily the top-level intent. That ambiguity may have pushed a verdict toward manslaughter rather than murder. Manslaughter generally covers a killing done with culpable negligence, reckless disregard of human life, or a killing during a sudden quarrel or heat of passion. The jury seemed to conclude that Alicia's conduct, while criminal and contributing to a death, did not rise to the level of first-degree murder. There was no clear premeditated intent to kill on her part. In other words, they determined she played a role but not to the level required for first degree. Realistically, it may have been hard for some jurors to believe that Alicia hopped in a car with her boyfriend and a group of men, drove down to Tampa, and bounced around from parking lot to parking lot without any idea that there was a plot to find and kill Julio Foolio. The jury may have been persuaded by her testimony that she didn't know the full plan or have an intent to engage in it, but probably found it highly doubtful that she didn't have a clue what was happening when she went along for the ride. The verdict reflects the jury's consideration of what the evidence supported. While the state presented a scenario of coordinated tracking and ambush, the defense cast Alicia's role as far more limited and lacking the requisite intent and agreement to kill. Homicide prosecutions not only hinge on whether someone contributed to a death, but also on how they contributed, what their state of mind was, and how well the prosecution can prove pre-planning, intent, and agreement among co-conspirators. Now, I don't think Alicia's verdict is an indicator that the other defendants will get manslaughter convictions or get off on the conspiracy charges. In all honesty, they're probably cooked based on the evidence we already heard in Alicia's trial. But of course, it's the prosecution's job to present the evidence and convince the jury, so we'll see what happens in the future. Here, though, Alicia's case was a tough sell. I think the jury did their job and applied the law appropriately. If you found this breakdown helpful, like this video, subscribe for more real-world legal analysis, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the jury got it right? Let's talk about it below.
Don't forget to like and share this video, and for more legal insights, keep watching and subscribe to our channel.